guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video on the X3M. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about the top 5 things I like about owning my X3M. So if you guys see my other videos, I've had this for about 6 weeks, closing in on 750 miles on the odometer so far. Totally loving this thing. So let's go ahead and jump right into the main topic of the video. Alright, so guys, the number one thing I like about my 2022 X3M is just the sound and the performance of it. So it's a twin turbo V6, 503 horsepower. So listening to that exhaust, just for me, really does not get old. You know, how they got it sounding so good from the factory, and I don't, really have to do anything to it, is just a huge bonus for really any in-car. Going back to the performance, you get in here and you've got 200 on the dash on a crossover SUV, which, is always a good sign. Now I know, looking at other performance vehicles, you could compare this to a Model Y performance and have roughly the same 0 to 60 time. But I mean, to me, if you're comparing that and this, you could get that a heck of a lot cheaper. But personality-wise, you're getting way more in this car when it comes to the exhaust. I think if I just had all the performance and didn't have the exhaust sounds as I was driving around town and stuff, for me it would get old pretty quick. That may not be true for everybody, but for me, if I'm buying a performance vehicle, I definitely want to hear it. That's kind of, half the experience for me. So number 2 on my list is the comfort of this thing. So as I've said in my other videos, this has an adjustable suspension. Usually when I'm driving around town, the roads around here aren't all that great. There's lots of potholes and stuff. I usually put it in comfort. It seems to the suspension in this seems to absorb those pretty well, and the ride's pretty smooth. The ride in this is definitely a lot smoother than it is my M2 competition, which it's not really a fair comparison comparing a little car to an SUV like this. It sits up a lot higher. Going back to the overall comfort of this vehicle, being 6'5", I fit in this perfectly. I love the more kind of upright sitting position, just like you get in any SUV. But as much as I love my M2, I am nowhere near as comfortable in that as I am riding around in this, obviously. And then as a bonus, there's a huge back seat back there. Previously to this, I'd owned an X5, and comparing the back seat to what we've got here, I mean, it doesn't seem like, I know the X5 is supposed to be, a little bit bigger vehicle, but it doesn't seem like in the back seat, there's a huge difference in the amount of room. And there's still a ton of room back there for the kids, and they're perfectly happy back there. The only downside I've seen is I really like the material on the back of the seats. And of course, my kids are sitting back there just kicking the heck out of it and getting footprints out all over it, but there's not a lot I can do about that except for, maybe get a cover or something like that. All right, we come to number 3, and for me, this is being able to change all those settings individually, and I've done a previous video kind of going over this more in depth, but just the fact that you can change this from an extremely comfortable highway cruiser to cranking up the different settings to Sport Plus, and then the vehicle has a totally different personality based on what settings you have on. You can change the steering, you can change, as I said, the suspension, you can change the traction control, and then you can also change the throttle response. So just being able to have that individual customization to me is a huge benefit, because I'm going to drive this differently if I'm hauling my family around versus if it's just me, running out to get a cup of coffee or something by myself. That brings us to number 4, which for me is the quality of the interior finishes in this cabin. As they say, every car reviewer says, this is just a really nice place to be. Everything's finished really nice. I really like the glossy carbon fiber they put on the interior. The leather is super nice. The seats are super comfortable, and I really like the patterns that they have in these. And then the lighted M badge in the middle is just a nice little touch too, to kind of elevate things in here. Steering wheel is especially nice. It's got a little bit of chunk to it without feeling overly big. So just a fan of really everything everywhere you look in here. So number 5 for me is the paint color. So I went with the Brooklyn Gray metallic exterior. It's a lot like the Audi Nardo Gray, and I just love the look of that color on really any vehicle, and I've wanted, you know, some car with it for a long time, and I'm glad I was able to find one with this X3M, because it just looks great. I've treated it with some Adams ceramic coat, car wash stuff that helps the water kind of beat off of it, and you know, even driving this thing through the rain and you know, getting it a little dirty. The really nice thing about this gray color is that even if the paint is dirty, unless you're looking really closely, you can't tell. It looks, if you're, you know, more than a few feet back, it looks clean still. I think this paint color just looks really clean. I think it's a really striking color, and I'm really a huge fan of it. You know, it looks a little bit different depending on you know, what light you're in. It kind of changes colors a little bit. So really just kind of a fan of how just really dynamic it is, and it definitely catches a lot of people's attention. That's for sure. All right, we're gonna do a pull on the highway here. Oh man, that does not get old. This thing is just stupid fast. But yeah, going back to the exhaust in this thing, when you rev it up and then get off the gas a little bit, it makes little burbles, which is the greatest sound in the world when it comes to this car. And I'm going on and on about how big a fan I am of the sound, and I'm not even through the, you know, break-in period, so I've been keeping the revs pretty low. So, you know, once I get this thing, you know, fully opened up and can really start pushing it, it's just one of those things to me that this is not going to get old. This is just a fantastic car. All right, guys, so that will do it for today. That wraps things up for the top 5 things I like about my X3M so far. I'm going to keep making update videos on the X3M. If there's anything specific that you guys have questions about or are curious about, drop them in the comments below, and I will make a video on them, on those questions in the future. As always, thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you in the next one.